Hey everyone. So right from the jump, the money shot in this episode of all the elders together in their demon forms simply immaculate. Like the art team cooked on just showing how monstrous and demonic these forms are. It was one thing to see these forms in silhouette when Sabo faced them off against them in Marie Joie, but to see them up close it truly is terrifying, and it makes you wonder what is the real form of these five people? Is it the men who transform into the beasts, or are they the beasts who have human, or are they just beasts who have human skin? It's kind of fat. Like obviously there's a devil fruits, but in a case like this, where 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 there's a lot of metaphor going on, it just makes you wonder which is which. Um, for that matter as well, with the official reveal of these forms, it kind of begs the question even more of what is Emu? Like, what is the form we saw? Because at face value, it looked like something akin to an axolotl, but is that all there is to it, or is there more to that form that Oda's hiding from us? Because Emu himself, at this point, is definitely Emu and the and the elves at this point are very much analogs to the devil and demons at this point. Each five of them have a form tied to ancient Japanese oni, except for Jupiter, who's just a sandworm. Which, yeah, although the art team cooked on his monster form, it's still hilarious that he's the only one of the four that have these forms tied to Japanese myth, and he's just a sandworm. But again, just like even just putting that aside, though, like it just kind of begs the question of what is the true nature of these abilities of these forms? Like how are they tied? How are they tied to the Void Century? Because like it's very much proving more and more that these five and Emu have some very distinct ties to the Void Century, and that much like and for these forms specifically have some kind of tie to Nika himself. Like everything is kind of painting a picture of just probably what these kind of forms themselves are kind of painting a picture of just probably what that war back in the Void Century was like in a way. So it's just a question of like how do these forms fit into that history now? Um, although and this and and yeah, aside from just the speculation though, this episode comes out swinging by showing that how easily it was to overpower Luffy even in his giant Nika form, but also having Noskuro charge the shore and wipe out the passive beast that's attacking the navy, like this, it's showing this is the power of the five elders, and it is terrifying. Although, for me, one of the most interesting things about that moment as well is Nostromo's attempts to keep himself hidden from the navy. Like now, again, obvious reasons would be the elders' attempt to keep the navy ignorant of their again possible connection to the Void Century, which in itself makes you wonder how paranoid the others are about their own forces potentially turning against them if they should ever learn the truth. Again, we won't know for sure. It's all speculation, but just kind of curious to me, little details like that. With that said, I love how much this episode puts Sanji in the spotlight in the sense of where even before having the face-to-face encounter with the other elders, he knew it was time to gather the crew and to get the fuck out of Dodge. Like we need to gather together, get off the island now, because he realized for as strong as they are, there's still no way that they can hope to fight against a power like that. And I'm not going to be one of those people who says he like Sanji never has those moments, but has these moments anymore. But it's it's just, but it's just that it's nice that in this moment in the arc where everything is going devolving into utter chaos, it's good to see someone on the crew have have take that initiative, kind of just have a cool head about everything, and realize we're in over our heads. We this is the kind of power we can't even hope to fight against, and we need to get out of here. So again, it's just nice to hear someone on the crew have that cool head, have that mindset of, okay, this is what we need to do. no more fighting. We're over our heads. We need to leave. Like just having someone have that kind of mentality is very nice. Which, granted, knowing what I know from the manga, I do wonder if it would have been possible in order for them to fight against the Elders in this arc. But I think even then it would have required very specific Haki control, which they don't have at this time. And yeah, it's funny how even within the scope of trying to get everyone on the same page, Sanji still took the time to take a jab at Zoro, calling him dead weight, and even funnier is how it reached Zoro's ear despite not wearing a headset. Like, but and even though it's a fun bit, in this case, Sanji's kind of right. Like even after feeling the Haki of the Five Elders, those two are still so absorbed in their fight that they don't give a shit about anything else other than finishing this fight. And and it's just one of those. And in retrospect, this is one of those fights where you gotta think at some point. You just gotta ask the question: when do you just throw it all down, call a truce, and live to fight another day? Like that's kind of how I think I view this fight nowadays. Like it was a fight that started off cool, but after a while, it's like, guys, just squash the bullshit and get the fuck out. You're gonna die. Of course, in Lucci's case, of course, in Lucci's case, it's always kind of hard to tell because since the man is still part of Cypherpol, and especially Cypherpol Zero, where it's all about, yeah, you basically live and die to serve the government. It's kind of one of those things where you tend to ask the question: Is Lucci's goal just to keep the Straw Hats on this island, because even if he has to die doing it, or is he just doing it because he enjoys the fight? It's one of those cases where it's probably a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but you do gotta wonder. And but again, given current circumstances and the way that things are being set up with Sanji asking Jinbei to kind of just in order to grab Zoro and get the fuck out, I think this is definitely going to be a fight where Zoro's really going to have to give up some kind of a W on this fight for sure. And yeah, aside from that, the episode caps off with Dory and Broggy going absolutely ham, knocking Mercury and Saturn's heads together for slicing Jupiter in half to rescue Luffy. It's kind of a nice little parallel to Crunch how Dory had met Luffy before, and the whole reunion was again just perfectly executed. But for those wondering what I think about Dory and Broggy so handily dealing blows to the Five Elders, for me it works mostly because A, they're giants, so they are by definition going to have more of a natural strength advantage going up against big beasts like that. Because no matter what form the Elders take, they still technically have the forms of. They still technically are human, even if they're immortal. But also, let's be real, Dory and Broggy, they've had tons of different practice. Between fighting all those dinosaurs on Little Garden, and has got to be worth something. And that's not even accounting for any wild animal hunting experience that they already have. Very likely due to Elbaf's culture of being sort of this very having a very sort of having a very hunting focus, being sort of a Norse sort of inspired culture. I imagine that they do. Elbaf's culture is very much hunting focused. So it's not hard to imagine they'd have experience fighting the Elders, since even if they are demons, they're still demons with animalistic qualities. Again, animals that Dory and Broggy probably have experienced fighting. The only disadvantage I think Dory and Broggy have in this fight is the same one the Straw Hats have been faced with, which is the mortality factor. Like, that in itself is a hurdle. You gotta wonder how are they gonna overcome that. But again, I think there might be a Haki solution there. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Blue Sky, Analyst Crunchyroll, be sure to push the bell, subscribe button, and just hit the video, guys. Dark Knight signing off. Later, everyone.